Okay, today we are working on a 2011 Ranger. It's got a problem with the oil pressure being too high on it, and when you start it up, first cold start in the morning, you get a it'll fire up and die immediately, crank over like it doesn't have any compression. Other problems other people have had with the same issue is they blow the oil filter seal out, lose all their oil, ruin their engine. I was going to see if I could show you where I'm going to go in to get this pressure relief valve out. See if I can point to it here. Kind of tough to see. Okay. Right by that. Right above the oil filter. Hard to tell through my camera, but above and to the left of the oil filter, you can see a little nut. That's a 15mm nut. We're going to thread that out, and then I'm going to pull out the guts of it and show you what it looks like. And this is how I'm going to go through and get it out. I'm going to access through this hole here. This is going to be one arm. You got to do everything with one arm, but it is doable. The only other option is to take off that front panel, take off the front engine mount, and I think the Y pipe. Ends up being an hour and a half, 2-hour job, and it is no fun. So we'll try it this way. Okay, we got the parts out. This is the order that they went in. This is the piston, followed by, or the piston is at the bottom. Well, let's reverse. The plug is here. Take out that plug, that 15mm head on it. Then the spring. The piston is on the bottom. The bolt compresses the spring, and that compresses the piston. The piston, you can see, has some wear on it, some galling. Not bad, just enough that you can tell it's been moving in there. It moves quite a bit. This was new about, it's been about 600 hours now since I've had this out last, and I was having trouble with it. What's going on in there is, this is a stainless steel dowel. It's nothing more complicated than a dowel is all it is. It's sitting inside an aluminum sleeve in the engine case. The steel wears the aluminum case out and galls up the case, and since we can't get to the case to clean it out or do anything with that, all we can do is clean this up. I like to chuck one end of it in a drill and then use 2000 grit paper and hold that on one half of it while it spins, and then flip it over, do the other half. And I'm not saying chuck it in there hard so it galls it, I'm just saying barely chuck it in there. It's a really hard dowel, so you're not going to hurt it. But basically just take off a bunch of, maybe 1,000th or two if you have a micrometer. You can measure and try to take off 1,000th. I'm just going to try to take it off until it looks good again, because I really haven't had any problems since I've done this last time. And remember, on reassembly, there's two different ends to this dowel. One end is tapered and one end is just rounded. The tapered end goes down. If you're going in the hole, this goes first. Tapered end goes in first. And that's all there is to it. Clean that up, put it back together with some oil, tighten this down. It's an aluminum case, so don't tighten it real tight, just get it snug. It won't leak. Do that, if your problems will probably be solved. If you can't get this dowel out and it's stuck, if you can't get it out with this little pen magnet, and this is kind of a custom deal, it's one of those telescoping ones that I just broke off because there's really no clearance in there to get anything else in there. If you can't get it out, take your plug out, take your spring out, put a magnetic tray or something underneath or around where the hole is at. Start your engine, let it run for just a second, 1 or 2 seconds, and it should fire this right out of there. I mean, it should fire it out kind of like a rocket. and it should fall on the skid plate or on your magnetic plate or whatever you got in front of it. Don't run it 10-15 seconds, that way you'll lose all your oil, but that will take engine oil and try to fire it out, push it out for you if it is stuck in the bore. I would replace it if you're going to go ahead and do it. This has been replaced once, so I'm just going to clean it up. It's like a $4 dowel, and the spring is maybe $2. So just something you got to do when you've got the Polaris 800. They didn't put a lot of thought into this design, and the users are kind of paying for it. So if you have this problem and you don't want to spend a bunch at the dealer, they're going to tell you ran your oil too long. That's why you got galling on your piston. You didn't change your oil often enough. They'll deny your warranty claim to get out of doing it. Change your oil every 50 to 100 hours. 100 hours if you baby it. 50 hours if you have a lot of idle time or run it real hard or run in dusty conditions. These guys changing at 30 hours, 40 hours. Don't waste your money. It's not your fault that you're not changing the oil often enough. It's what happens when you've got steel on aluminum. So there it is.